Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest edition of our entertainment show as we look at upcoming movies and TV series debuting in Ireland this month. And this is a special interview now. It's a smash hit movie that is debuting this month. It did release last Friday to rave reviews all over cinemas across the country here in Ireland. It's the horror smash sort of light horror. It's the one and only Candyman, the remake of the Tony Todd classic that we remember back in the early 90s on our TV screens. And delighted to be joined by an actor now who played the role of Sherman Fields in Candyman, the one and only Michael Hargrove. And Michael, pleasure to talk to you this evening. And
Thank you.
in
Same.
terms of you, Candyman and the rave reviews that is getting all over the world, are you pleasantly surprised, or are you just thrilled and the attention to be involved in such a project that is getting rave reviews for a time of the year that's not even Halloween?
I am pleasantly surprised and ecstatic about it. I mean, the reviews are wonderful with everyone involved, the entire cast. It's great. I did not think it was going to be this big. I hoped it would be, but it was amazing. First weekend, over $20 million at the box office. It's amazing in Chicago.
And Michael, I went to see the movie myself last Friday. I was one of the
Great.
first to get a preview sort of screening of the movie, and
Okay.
wow, what a story! It leaves you gripping because it sort of doesn't really brings you on a journey. I felt throughout the
Yes.
movie in terms of
Yes.
trying to decipher. In terms of these characters,
Mm.
were they pledging on the forms of a bit of mental breakdown, or was it that sort of a supernatural sort of experience or encounter? I felt it sort of brought you on a sort of a journey where you were sort of
Mm.
questioning both sort of pretenses.
Right, right. As far as the supernatural feeling of it, I think it was there nonetheless, regardless, because of the premise of Candyman, the original Candyman, and actually being a black character in the not necessarily remake, but a spiritual doing, or at least production of Candyman. It was interesting to see my character go from neighborhood's more or less mental impaired person to the demon that he is now. And it was a fantastic journey. And Nia Costa, the director, took us on the direction that she wanted to go with, and we just followed, and it worked out. It's perfect.
Yeah, and the whole sort of premises. Normally, we see horror movies, and they're like the Freddy the Krueger, Friday the
Yes,
13th,
that is horror. That is horror.
Jason
Yes,
Voorhees. But this was
right,
a story where you sort of two promising
right,
artists. I mean, two promising actors trying to find a
mhm,
path and sort of the journey, and it
right.
almost felt like while they were trying to make the breakthrough, they were taking all the wrong steps at the same time.
Exactly, exactly. Very true, very true.
And
Um,
Michael, how did the opportunity come about for you to get cast as the
that
role of
was
Sherman Fields?
well, let's just say that being honest, at the time I've been an actor in Chicago for many years, and I've been in a number of commercials. But at the time, I was actually had a full-time job, and I had lost my job, and
Okay.
I was just down and about. And I'm like, okay, this is great. And my agent said, hey, there's this movie that's being filmed. Do you have time to go and audition? And I said, sure, why not? I didn't think anything of it. Went to the auditioned, and I was walking out, and the casting agent said, Mike, can you stay a little bit longer? Usually that means you're good, or they want to talk to you about being an extra.
Mm.
And from there, it just went from point A to point B.
Mm. And I suppose, Michael, the main character in the sort of movie
Mm,
itself, the artist himself,
right,
what a fantastic sort of portrayal of sort of character, even
right.
to sort of becoming the
Thank you.
Candyman. And we sort of get that sort of sense from the minute he's sort of bitten by that sort of wasp, that ant sort of thing, that
Yes, yes, yes.
he his whole personality, his whole demeanor sort of
Right.
changes.
Right, right, and that was a spiritual journey for the actor Yaya, who was obviously starred in the film, and it was he's an amazing actor. I got to work with him a little bit on set, more so, less so than the other actors. But the one scene I do remember was the mirror scene where we the dual mirror scene,
Yeah.
mirrored image. That was fantastic. I love that period. That was great. That was great working with them.
Yeah, and I
And
suppose that sort of choreography sort of move, you mentioned that mirror sort of scene. Was it almost felt like a dance sort of routine in
it
terms of you were
was, it
doing a
was.
sort of duet?
We had a choreographer on set who was obviously conversing a lot with Jordan Peele from Monkey Paw on what exactly he wanted to see from the images as far as the mirror scene, and as well as Nia, the director, being there. And we just choreographed it. We did it on a Saturday for about 6 hours. That was an experience.
Yeah, and I suppose Michael, in terms of Candyman,
Mhm.
such rave reviews in
Right.
terms of the shooting. But can I ask you about the shooting of the film itself? In terms of it being shot, was it probably a 2 to 3 month production?
Actually, it was, I believe it was like a month and a half for the total production in the beginning. And then from there, there was a little bit of rewriting done, and we did a little bit more shooting, like 3 more weeks in Chicago. And I think more or less what was done as far as the rewrite worked perfectly for the movie. And it was an experience being on set with such talented actors and obviously the director. It was, it's something I will cherish for many years.
Hmm. And I suppose we see your character straight from the off, and he's sort of coming out of the wall in terms of,
Right.
and we see the sort of piece of
Yes.
candy. When you saw the script and sort of portrayal for that, and the old style sort of costume as well,
Right.
what were you sort of thinking in just terms of how you want to portray this man? Do you want to portray him as sort of mentally challenged, or sort of sweet and naive, or a sort of
I would say a little bit of both, a little bit of both. And the challenge to me was actually being on set and seeing the actual set that we're, I mean, you can read something on a script and you won't really have it up here until you actually see the set itself. And then you're in the costume and you're moving on the set and you're being directed by the director. At that time, I thought it was just an amazing piece. I knew it would just blow everyone away. The idea of this person who's 6'4" coming out of the wall, hiding in the wall with candy and a prosthetic hook, that's a visual image that I don't think anyone could imagine. It's great. It was great doing that.
And I suppose, Michael, in terms of Candyman, for you, when
Yes,
you saw the finished product, and the rest of the cast, when you saw the finished product
right.
for the first time, did you see a screening as a cast, or were you like
Yes,
everyone?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Actually, we were invited to a private screening before the opening last week, and there was more or less cast and crew, the majority of cast members in the city of Chicago, and we were all just blown away by it. I mean, it's from the very opening and to the very end. And I think most audience members who have not obviously involved in the actual filming of it, it's going to be just as enthused by it, just as impressed.
And Michael, in terms of Tony Todd himself, did you ever cross paths on set? And was
No,
Tony at the
no, I
reunion?
didn't. No, I did not. I hate that. I wanted to meet him. I was actually being limoed from the set, from my dressing room to the set, and I asked the driver, "Hi, have you seen Tony Todd? Is he going to be here?" And I was like, "Oh, he's come and gone." It's like, what? Seriously? No. But no, I missed him. Unfortunately, I did want to meet him, definitely.
And in terms of the sort of final sequences of the movie, in terms of where the sort of police shootout is,
Mhm,
mimicking the sort of original story,
mhm.
in terms of the demise of the Candyman, and obviously he's the next sort of generation portraying that sort of role. In terms of that sort of sequence, when you
Mhm.
saw that sort of demise, obviously
Yeah.
you weren't set in those sort of sequences. As an actor, were you say, so thought yourself, wow, that's a real sort of decisive sort of take on how to
Yeah.
sort of end the movie in a sense?
I think the movie and the way it ended with the connection as far as like the previous Candymans, and also in the image of the vehicle, if you recall from the scene, seeing the multiple Candymans and the reflection that was shown in Anthony's character, I think it worked quite well. I think you're bringing the understanding that it's not just one Candyman, there's a number of Candymen. and they go throughout time and will progress, and it opens the doors for sequels. Definitely.
And I suppose that's the thing. I suppose we're talking about 30, we're talking about 30 years since the original sort of thing. So the original Candyman movie. So obviously it's fresh in sort of people's minds. And we know when there's a likeness, when there's a sort of a freshness thing, that could lead to opportunities. But I'm just sort of wondering on the lines of, we have so much sort of online sort of channels in terms of Netflix, Amazon Prime. There's sort of this thing, roadmaps where you can go down there and sort of a short sort of a mini sort of series as well, and maybe look at the prehistoric, maybe the past 1800s sort of versions of the Candyman.
And that's gonna open a lot of, that's great. I like that. Maybe I'll write that. That's a good take on it. Definitely.
Yeah, you should definitely copyright that, Michael, in terms of that.
Thank you, Jim.
And Michael, in terms of what's happening for you for the rest of 2021 and into 2022, are you involved in any other sort of projects?
Well, not at the time, only because of the pandemic. It's kind of like took the, I would say, the wind out of movie making right now in the city of Chicago. More or less, most filming is being done in LA and abroad, and also in Vancouver, of course. But nothing scheduled at the moment. I'm doing a lot of audition interviews like I'm doing with you. And I've just signed a contract for Comic-Con Horror Festival next year, which is going to be interesting. I've never done that. My understanding is that Tony Todd is always there, so maybe I'll run into him then.
No problem.
But down the pipeline, I'm free and waiting for the call.
And Michael Hargrove, have you ever been to Ireland yourself?
No, I have not been to Ireland. I'm also a photographer. I would love to go to Ireland. It's a wonderful place. I've seen photographs, and I have a friend who is from Ireland, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. It's amazing, amazing scenery.
And I suppose, Michael, I'll turn it over to your character now, Sherman Fields, for the final 30 seconds, the Candyman himself, and he might enlighten all of our listeners here, all our viewers, why they should go to the cinema for week 2 of the Candyman while it's there. First week, for people who didn't get there to week 1, what's in store for them? I know what's in store, but for people who haven't seen it yet, maybe Sherman, you can enlighten them.
Let's see. Go to see Candyman. It's amazing. It will hook you to the very end.
And obviously, then, Michael, it's up for me. Then it's up for me to say the classic sentence: Candyman, 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 and Candyman. That's 5 reasons alone why you should go and watch it. But don't look into the mirror while you're saying it, obviously.
And don't take a selfie, of course.
Michael, an absolute pleasure talking to you as we preview Candyman movie. As we said, into week 2 and all the cinemas nationwide across Ireland. Do check out Michael Hargrove's performance. You'll recognize him as Sherman Fields in the movie itself. And he's there from the start. He's there throughout. And a really good job, and no doubt when the TV series come knocking, Michael, you'll be in the pipeline as well. They'll come back and for you in terms of rebooting that character. But for the moment, Michael Hargrove, take care, God bless, and look forward to more Candymans in the future.
Thank you, Jim. Nice talking to you.
Cheers. Take care, Michael.
Bye.